The ZBA for October 16, 2025. Roll call.
Bontrager, Nichols,
Here.
Hutchinson,
Here.
Coy,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Post,
Here.
Alt.
Okay. Approval of the July 17th meeting. Any additions or corrections or deletions? If not, we get a motion.
I move to approve the minutes.
We gotta do the agenda first, guys.
Sorry?
Agenda first.
Oh, I did move. Oh, I didn't, sorry. I missed one. We approved the agenda for October 16th, 2025. So anything changed there? Can I get a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Add the joint planning and development meeting under new business, please.
Any correction for the meetings? Okay, do I get a motion again for the meetings minutes?
Mr.
move.
Chair, can we back up to the agenda, please?
Yeah,
Remember that we need to
okay.
add,
Well, yes, I thought that was going on a new business, I'm sorry.
we need to add it onto the agenda.
Okay.
So the motion would be to approve the agenda with the amendment to
Okay,
add.
that's all right.
So,
The agenda, we have to add the joint planning development meeting
under new business.
on our new
So
business.
can I get someone to make that motion, please? Mr. Chair cannot make the motion.
Get a motion for that one?
Sure.
Okay.
Move to accept.
Second?
A second.
Okay.
Post,
Yes.
Hutchinson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes,
Bontrager, Alt, Coy.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
okay. Now can we go?
Yes, onto the minutes, approval of the minutes.
Okay, approval of the July 17th, 2025 meetings, meetings. Do I have a motion?
I finally get to make that motion?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You get a second?
Second.
Okay,
Hutchinson,
Yes.
Coy,
Yes.
Alt, Bontrager, Brown,
Yes.
Post,
Yes.
Nichols.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now we get public comment. I guess that's, okay. Communications. Variance approval for progress refresher.
Do I need to open this up for her to be on?
Yeah, just let her know that you'd like for her to speak to that.
I guess,
Do I mute my
and
audio?
how's the zoning code
What do I need to do?
rewrite
You
going?
can tell her that you would like her to speak to that.
Oh, okay. Hi, there you are.
Yep, no worries.
So Beth, if you could speak about that, please, I'd appreciate it.
Yep, so I'm just going to give two quick brief reminders for what we have on the agenda tonight. The first reminder is that when we're looking at dimensional variances, the standard for that is going to be practical difficulties. So again, we must show that there are practical difficulties that are related to the land to grant that variance, as well as the standards that Teresa's provided in those in the staff report, the additional zoning standards. So again, standard is practical difficulties, and that must be related to the land, not personal or economic reasons. Then the second reminder is that you all must make findings on the record for why the property meets or does not meet the variance requirements and that standard of practical difficulties. We can reference that language when you're making your motion. You can reference findings that the staff has made in the staff report if you choose to do so, but findings must be on the record for why you decide to approve or disapprove of a variance. So those are just two reminders going in throughout the meeting, and I'll be listening in if anyone has any questions.
Okay, anybody questions right now?
Question, so that each of us have to provide our reasoning for how we find, or the board in general has to provide a reason?
The board in general.
Okay.
Yep, that's correct, the board in general.
Okay. The other one, the zoning code rewrite, how's that coming?
So we do have a meeting scheduled for October 31st at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be at the well fields, and that is open to the public. It's going to be fairly informal. We do have the zoning advisory committee, number of people that are going to be attending, and that's going to be like our first step of coming together, talking, going over things. So it's moving along.
When is that again?
October 31st at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Then we'll go to the good one, the public hearing.
All right, so I'll go ahead and start this. So we're here today about the Zoning Board of Appeals dimensional variance request, and it's as known as Subway. The applicant or owner that applied for this is Midway Signs. The owner is Bry Lex Cadillac LLC. The property address that we're discussing this evening is 903 North Mitchell. The request is reduce sign setback from 10 foot to 6 foot. So some background. The B3 zoning allows a variety of businesses. City requires pole signs to be at least 10 feet from the property line. As you can see here, this is an older picture, but it in blue is the property. The request details the applicant wants to place a new sign 6 feet from the property line instead of the required 10 foot. The sign would be 8 foot 6 inches tall, and it would sit 6 inches off the parking lot and 6 feet from the sidewalk. Variance request. Here in your packet, you could see what the sign dimensions are. Sign setbacks nearby. So 300 feet from Subway on each side of Mitchell Street. I went out and I took measurements. So I measured 4 existing signs. The average setbacks from the sidewalk to the sign was 6.25. So the individual setbacks, one was 3 feet, one was 11 foot, one was only a half a foot, and the other was 10.5 feet. The requested 6 foot setback is close to the neighboring average. Neighborhood. Most new signs in the area met the 10 foot rule. Some older signs are closer to the street due to past regulations. Mitchell Street has a mix, as we all know, of different setbacks on signs. The variance review and the standards. So it met the light and air. The sign will not block light or air to the neighbors. Traffic, no extra congestion expected. Safety, no increased fire risk or public safety concerns. Property values, sign is expected to add value but not reduce it. Then public welfare, the use matches district intent and local regulations. The public notice. Notices were sent to the neighbors within 300 foot. Notice was published in the local paper and on the city website. No public comments received as of this report. A board decision. The board will decide to approve with conditions, or deny the request. Conditions may be attached if necessary, be attached if needed. A sample board motion. It is moved by, supported by, to approve or deny the sign setback variance requested for 903 North Mitchell, reducing the setback from 10 foot to 6 foot. And then conditions, you would say any or say none. Thank you.
Anybody want to talk about it? Please state your name and address and put a sign in there.
My name is Jason Letzkus, and I am the owner of Midway Signs Incorporated. We're doing the work for Subway or Primark. I went and had a look at that location here before I came to this meeting, and the one thing that stands out, there are some other signs that are closer than 10 feet to the sidewalk. That's pretty obvious. But the thing that stood out to me is the property is considerably wider than the other properties. I don't know if you can put that slide back up, but it's considerably wider than the other properties neighboring it. It is a multi-tenant building, so you have a Subway, but you also have a vacant tenant space that's going to be, as you look at this, just to the right. So there will be 2 tenants in that space. Because of that, the way the parking lot needed to be made has narrowed that area of grass from the curb to the sidewalk. I think our initial plans for this that showed being 20 feet or something wider, but when it came time to make the parking lot the way that the builders needed to accommodate for those 2 tenant spaces, that area where the sign can go got narrower. Okay, so the simple solution, you would say, well, make a narrower sign. Well, we have an issue with that, 2 issues with that. Subway's logo they have corporate standards that they have to meet, and it is a horizontal logo. They don't have an option for a vertical sign to make the sign narrower and have it read Subway on an angle or top to bottom or something like that. It's not an option. So we would have been left making a sign that's considerably shorter to meet the 10-foot setback. That would have caused a problem, I believe, a safety problem with the traffic. And I say that because you have a new building here. There's customers looking to get to Subway. They're going to see it at the last minute if the sign's not big enough. And they're going to slam on the brakes trying to make a turn. And you end up having collisions that way. So for a safety standpoint, I think it's beneficial when motorists, especially when you have a lot of summer traffic and out-of-town traffic, visitors coming to the area, they don't know the area real well. It's beneficial to have a larger sign that they can see. It helps with traffic flow patterns. If we added, and I thought of this after, I think, from our last conversation with you, something that I believe should be added to the sign on the very bottom. If you can put a slide back up of the proposed signage.
Right here?
There is this, yes, that one.
Okay.
You can see there is this black, it'll be aluminum cladding that's on the bottom. I believe that we should add a address to that, make it easier for the fire department to find that address if they needed to. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Yeah, any questions for him?
So, I have a question, Steve Brown. So when this whole thing was designed up and the building was built, there was no consideration given to the sign design or in how it met city standards?
That would be a question for the architect, but I know that the architect did approve this particular design with the building. Now, I know at some point, for whatever reason, my understanding is the parking lot needed to be made wider so that it encroached closer to the sidewalk or closer to the road, limiting what we had already had approved, essentially. It wasn't approved by permitting, but it was approved by the square foot requirements of the sign and by the architect.
Yep, and this all happened before I came on. And actually, they're the ones that recognized and found the issue. And then Midway Signs is the one that came to me and said, hey, we're out here. We are all ready to install this. And we see that this does not meet the standards. And then that's why we came together to go through all of this.
So we had drawings that had showed this green space being wider. We got on site to install it and found out that it was not as wide as the drawings had shown it to be.
Sure.
And our explanation was at some point in the building process, that parking lot needed to be made larger. and I can't answer why, that's out of my scope, but for whatever reason, it needed to be made larger, so now we're in a position where this is the sign we have that's essentially approved, and this is the space that we have to work with.
Okay, thank you.
And is it true that the sign is already made too,
The
isn't
sign
it?
was produced as soon as we got approval on the
Right.
initial drawings before you were here.
I just wanna clarify something. So the sign was approved because it fit the parking lot that was approved. Someone made changes to that parking lot. It wasn't someone, oops, here approved something that wasn't right. It was once they changed the parking lot, then no one thought to change the sign.
No one informed us that they were changing the parking lot.
Okay,
Is essentially what happened. So somebody, I would imagine, from my experience, it's usually because there was a second tenant space, there was something to do with handicap parking would be my guess, that it more needed to be added, and that made it, made the parking lot essentially wider.
Any other questions or comments?
I definitely do. For starters, there's gonna be an additional tenant. How is that signage gonna be dealt with?
So there is a blank space on that sign. If you look below the subway,
Below?
there's a white
Okay.
panel. That's for the
That
second
answers that
the second tenant.
Another question I have is, I believe, because I think they have a drive-through,
Correct.
I believe that had to be approved by the planning commission. And the planning commission, to approve it, would have approved a site plan. So what does the site plan show for the placement of the sign? That's a question I have. And part of why I'm bringing this up is the most recent monument sign in the B3 district of a new building that I'm aware of would have to do with the Christ Oil gas station convenience store. And with that site plan that the planning commission approved, there was an 8-foot setback for their monument sign to not obscure vision for safety. Ultimately, they put the sign back 8.5 feet. I just recently measured it. So I guess I'm curious what the planning commission site plan that was approved shows. What does it show? Placement, distance back, that whole thing. So I would have a hard time approving this without knowing what the planning commission previously approved.
Do you happen to know?
The other issue is I went there and I pulled in, and they have some small banner signs. And there's no question, when I pulled up my car to the sidewalk without going over the sidewalk, if you took those banner signs and went up 8 feet, unquestionably, it would obscure sight lines for traffic, particularly if you want to make a left-hand turn. Because Mitchell Street gets, I believe, over 8,000 vehicles a day through there. So between speed, vehicles, making a left-hand turn to leave, it's a safety thing. But I think, in my mind, I'm thinking that we kind of created a standard of 8 feet back for a monument sign when the planning commission approved the Christ Oil site. So before I would vote to approve anything here, I'd want to know what the site plan for the subway location here actually shows for signage.
And I guess that was before me, so I did not think to put that in here.
And I don't mean to
Yeah,
catch you off guard, but
No.
it's just, in my mind, this has already gone before the planning commission,
correct.
and usually a part of a site plan for them, just like Cadillac, West J&H Oil, signage was all a part of the approved site plan.
Right.
So I did not bring that
You
site
wouldn't,
plan,
you
but
might not
we
know.
did see one.
Yes.
And it does show this, so the architect stamped this according to the site plan.
Okay,
The issue is what's on our site plan that we were supplied and what's physically there
There, yep.
is two different things.
right.
Yep.
Not surprised, I'm not surprised.
And again, I was told it wasn't a mistake from the contractor, it was somewhere something was changed, and they said, okay, we need, and it may be from the drive-through, so that cars have enough room to come around the drive-through. They made that parking lot larger, and that's essentially where the problem came in.
Yep. And I just personally would have a hard time approving this variance until we know maybe what the planning commission has already approved.
And if you're,
And if the planning commission approves something specific to the sign, great. Let's run with that.
well, if we are unable to make a decision, I don't know we would table it or what the proper, I'd probably have to ask the attorney what the proper term is to bring that back again.
I'm curious what the rest of you think.
I guess from my standpoint, couple things. Number one, I find it irrelevant whether the sign's been built now or not. I'm sorry, I hope that doesn't end up on you, but it's irrelevant.
I agree.
We have established city setback requirements for, Mike, the reasons that some of what you've mentioned in terms of safety and sight, and Mitchell's a mess anyway, so unless I hear a real compelling reason why there's a hardship here, I would have a difficult time to approve
Well, it
this.
says that it's not personal or
I agree.
economic.
I agree.
It's not a reason to
I
get a
agree.
variance.
So that's where I am on it. So I don't know if we're voting to turn it down or if we're waiting for
I'd like
some
to-
other.
I'd like to, at the moment, make a motion.
Can I
That-
stop you guys just one
Yes.
second? This is a public hearing, so
Correct.
the chair does need to open the public hearing
Okay,
Correct.
first, prior
Correct.
to
Okay.
board making a motion.
Correct.
please.
I'll open the public hearing. Guess we can make a motion now, right?
Well, you would need to open and then close if there was no public.
You know what? Close it.
Thank you.
Okay,
I'd like to make a motion that we not approve this at this time. Basically, I want more information. I don't believe that a unique, trying to think of the right term, it's not a practical difficulty, but it is, bear with me here, I can look it up. And I am, give me just one moment here. It's not creating neither a practical difficulty at this time, nor is it good gosh, what's the term I'm looking for? It's in the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, and it has to do with an undue hardship. I don't see an undue hardship, and I just don't see that with this at this time. So I would like to, at this time, deny the motion. If the site plan, though, I'd like to add this as a condition, if the site plan that was approved by the Planning Commission shows a 6-foot setback, then go right ahead. But I think the Planning Commission site plan is pretty vital to making any decision here.
Go right ahead or reconsider?
Pardon?
Go right ahead or we reconsider?
I
at
would
that
say if the Planning Commission on their site plan approved a 6-foot setback, go right ahead. Because they
I'm going to
obviously-
interject here real quick, just because this standard, like you correctly stated, is practical difficulty. I think how we'd want to kind of use language for this motion, if we want to table it, would be to ask for more specific information, like you said, from the Planning Commission site plan, but also from the applicant to how this shows a practical difficulty tied to the land, and kind of frame the motion on that way so that we're following that specific standard there, if that makes sense.
Okay, then I'd like to change this to, I'd like to table this until we have more information as to what the Planning Commission approved on the site plan, which was a part of their approval for a subway with a drive-through and parking and so forth. Is that adequate?
Sorry. I would also include that you want the applicant to provide more information how there's a practical difficulty with the land.
A practical difficulty or an undue hardship? Because it has to do with a use, not a dimensional. Well, it is a dimensional. You're correct. You are correct.
Yep.
Do I need to be more explicit in some way?
Nope, I think that's good. If you do a motion to table this, looking for more information from the original site plan and the applicant regarding practical difficulty, that should cover it.
That would be my motion.
Second.
Okay,
Alt, Hutchinson,
I'm denying the variance, I don't know how to vote, whether to vote
Yes.
yes or no,
Yes.
or.
so the
okay,
mo-
Yes
the
on the table.
motion
Yes,
is
on
to
the,
table it.
yes, on the motion.
Coy,
Yes.
Nichols,
yes,
Bontrager, Host,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
as you say, we need more information, and bring it,
We will provide that.
Yes.
okay,
And staff can provide information to us too regarding the planning commission and their approvals.
See what we can do about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And my apologies not having all of that kind of coming into all of this, so.
okay. Well, close, we'll open the public hearing for the next variance.
Well, we'll let staff give a presentation.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
after the presentation, we'll let the
Presentation.
applicant,
Okay.
and then you can open the public.
Okay,
Thank you.
So this presentation is for the Zoning Board of Appeals for the address 1302 Walnut Street. The applicant is Jada and Doug. The address is 1302 Walnut. The request is a side yard variance reduced from 8 foot to 5 foot both sides, and the rear yard variance reduced from 30 feet to 15 feet. Property details. We know that it's currently zoned R2, which is a one-family residential. The lot size that you see there in front of you is 60 by 100, which is 6,000 square feet or 0.138 of an acre. That is the description there. And I want you to know that 1302 Walnut Street, the lot is currently vacant. The section 46-629 of the Cadillac zoning ordinance requires a side yard setback of at least 8 foot with a total of 18 foot and rear yard setback of 30 feet. So zoning requirements. They have a corner lot, which means they have 2 front yards. This lot does not meet the minimum standards. This would be considered a hardship. Front Walnut, 25 foot. Front of Rogers, 20 foot, could be reduced to 5 foot. The side yard, 8 foot, where they're requesting 5 feet, and the rear yard, which is 30, they're requesting 15 feet. The project description, the plans to build a 1-story, 1,900 square foot single-family home with a 2-car garage. They need a variance due to the lot shape and corner lot rules. The goal, stay a single story like the neighboring homes and avoid a 2-story structure. Neighborhood contents. So context, nearby homes, the one directly next door at 1306 Walnut, they have a front yard setback of 30 foot, the side a 5 foot and a 15, and the rear 25. Nearby home across the street of Rogers is 1114 Walnut Street. This is also a corner lot, and it does not meet the required setbacks. They have a 3-foot side, a 12-foot side, a 3-foot front, and a 30-foot rear. So our variance review for the city code standards: light and air, no impact; street congestion, no increase; fire, public safety, no increase; property value, expected to add value to the area; health, safety, and wellness remains consistent. The public notification was sent out to the neighborhood within 300 feet, posted publicly, also published in the local news. No public comments received as of report date. A board action, number 1, to approve with conditions, or deny the variance request. Conditions may be attached if needed. Key considerations. It's a corner lot, often needs flexibility due to their shape. A variance allows practical home building while keeping neighborhood characters. No substantial negative impact found based on review standards. So the board action. Does the ZBA move to grant the requested variance, finding that the dual street frontage and irregular shape of the lot presents a unique challenge, justifying relief from the strict setback requirements? The proposed setback will allow for practical and functional building footprint consistent with the neighborhood. The adjustment will not impair the intent of the zoning ordinance nor the public interest. And a condition, if none, the variance is granted solely based on the lot's unique configuration and practical development limitation. Thank you.
Hey, got any comments?
Oh gosh, sorry, my phone's stuck in the chair.
Please state your name and address and sign in.
I'm Jada Schmitling. I actually live at 1103 Walnut Street. We currently have been living there for the past couple of years now. It is a 800 square foot house because our lot size is actually 50 by 125. So as we know with our current house, constrictions in our neighborhood because of the lot sizes are extremely small. So when we saw this property open up, we were super excited because we love our neighborhood, saw that it was a corner lot and it would be a great spot for us to build our future home together. And so we were just like, okay, this will be great. I got excited, bought the building plan, realized I was not in my variance. So I took my next steps, even tried to look for new blueprints that would fit in that lot just to make sure that I would be in the code according to the R2 residence. And I did not find any houses that were above 2-bedroom that could fit in that property that were 1 story. I believe in the character of the neighborhood because there's 1 story, super quaint, very intimate neighborhood. I know several of my neighbors very intimately with that. And so it's just, it feels like it fits there that way. And so I know it's a lot to ask of us, and I do apologize. I didn't do much more research in advance. I'm still very young and still very new at this whole home building situation. So I do thank you guys for your time today as well.
Any questions for him? If not, we'll close this part and open up our business.
I guess I've got a question, and I'm, having been the zoning administrator here in Cadillac, this lot being 6,000 square foot, 60 foot wide is very buildable. It's very buildable with different designs, obviously not this one. So I'm having difficulty finding a practical difficulty when I know a design you can come up with a design that'll fit this lot without the need of a variance at all. And we've had other corner lots that have come before the ZBA, and basically they've made them fit. So, I mean, when I see, for example, the corner setback off of Rogers Street, it's a corner lot, so it should be 20 feet off the property line. And, you know, it's one thing to come before the ZBA and say, you know, if we can get just a couple of feet, 10% of the setback, we can really make this design work. But you're asking for a variance of 14 feet 3 inches off of a 20 foot setback. That seems very extreme to me. And for that reason, I could not approve this particular site plan. When you reduce the backyard, for example, from 30 feet to 15 feet deep, the question comes up, okay, where are children going to play for in the future, possibly, whether you're the owner or someone else? Where is snow going to be plowed or put, you know? And in this community, any site plan you have, you should be thinking ahead, where are we going to put snow? Because you're not supposed to put it on your neighbor's property. So there's a lot of issues there, and I know that in my neighborhood, you know, there are a combination of 2-story homes, 1 story, And I like the areas that have the different ones architecturally. I think it just adds more appeal to it. But I know there are some small homes, the footprint is small because the lots are on a curve, so you've got the front yard narrow, the backyard wider. These create practical difficulties, but they've got these homes that the living space on the main floor is smaller with the two-car garage, but they've got a fully furnished basement. So for example, the main floor may have a small living room, kitchen, dining, master bedroom, along with the garage, but the basement lower area, which is finished, has 2 bedrooms, full bath, you know, a nice living room area that can maybe even have a ping pong table. So there are things that can be done to make a nice home fit on a smaller lot. You know, this is 6,000 square feet. It's small, but it's not that small. So I just, knowing what has been put on other small lots like this in other neighborhoods, I just am having a hard time with this large of a footprint, particularly asking for a 15-foot variance in the rear yard off of 30 feet. That's 50%. And the 14 feet 3 inches on the Rogers Street side, which is almost, 75%, you know, variance. When I think in the past we've granted variances, but they tend to be more for a couple of feet, maybe 10% of the setback. So that's where I'm struggling with this site plan and application.
A question, the GIS or satellite view shows a building on the lot, so that was demolished recently, or?
They had an electrical fire a few years ago, and then they basically got to the point of where they demolished it and never rebuilt, and so then they
Okay.
sold the land.
I guess I worry a lot about sight lines on corner lots and for traffic reasons, and I have to agree with Mike, some of the comments he made. I think there are floor plans or designs that can be come up with that fit on a small but not super small lot, and whether it's going 2-story or come up with something different. So I'd like to respect, or at least very close to respect, the ordinances that we have. So that's where I am.
A lot of living space can be created with a finished basement. You know, your home you have for 1,900 square foot. I mean, 1,000 square foot home with a nice finished basement, boy, you've got 2,000 square foot of living space. And I personally, in my neighborhood, have seen that with 2 very recently built homes. And I don't know if they're 1,000 square foot or 1,100 or 1,200, but my home is 1,400 square foot. It's 30 foot wide at one end, 34 at the other, which would fit a lot like this. So I just think there's other options where you can have a very beautiful, livable home with a lot of living space that'll fit the setbacks better. So I'm not seeing what I consider a practical difficulty.
Anything else?
I would like to ask, when you're making your motion, are you considering all of them? So you've still got the front on Rogers, the front on Walnut, but then you've got the side and the rear. Would you grant any one of those or not? You know, would you put in, like, let's say that you deny it based on this, but give them the side and the rear?
I personally would not, because even the west side, which has an 8-foot setback, they want to reduce it to 5 foot.
5 foot,
That's a
correct.
3-foot variance. It's, again, it exceeds what in my mind, I'm thinking past variance approvals. They've generally been up to maybe 10% of the setback. I just think it's a little too extreme, and, you know, you've got to have room on that lot for down the road, possibly children to play, where you're going to put snow. There's a variety of issues that come to my mind.
I wouldn't want to approve something à la carte without seeing the plan in its entirety. And as Mike mentioned, maybe if it's a foot or two to accommodate something specific, maybe we consider that. But I agree, it's an awful lot, and it's an awful lot. It's a lot of deviation from the ordinance, I guess is the term we use. And if there was something that was maybe a minor variation on that, I'd want to see the plan in its entirety.
We get a motion.
I move that we, what's the word, not grant the variation,
Okay.
variance? Is that the right way to say it?
And I agree in the sense that, in my opinion, it's your motion, but I don't believe a significant practical difficulty has been established.
And if that's the reason that our
Or an
attorney needs to
exception. I
have
think
to
the term-
accept
I think
this.
the term- I think the term in the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act is exceptional practical difficulty.
I agree, and if that needs to be added to the motion, we can, but I think we're all on the same page here.
And I would second it.
Okay.
Coy,
Yes,
Nichols,
or yes to the
Yes.
denial.
Hutchinson,
Yes.
Alt, Brown,
Yes.
Host,
Yes.
Bontrager.
Sorry, it hasn't been approved.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Come up with a
keep
plan that
keep
works
at
for
it.
your family.
We'd love to see you build something
Please
there.
come up with a plan that works for your family.
Okay. Any new business?
None at this time.
Yes, there is.
What did we
Oh,
get?
yes,
I
that,
thought we did.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What did we do?
They added the Joint Planning Commission
Yeah.
stuff.
Yes.
Old business.
I questioned Danielle, you sent something out the other day about something in January.
That's,
Hey, guess what? That is our new business item.
Oh, well, how about that?
Woo!
I'm great with these entrees, aren't I?
Go ahead.
Yes, that we're adding the joint, planning and development meeting in our, well, she said on the agenda, but we're going to have in January just a meeting for everybody to attend, everybody to come, and this is part of our RRC recertification.
Everybody meaning having to do with planning and zoning and stuff, or what?
Yes, so it would be the ZBA, the Joint Planning Commission, the Planning Commission, and anyone that would want to attend from City Council or any other groups.
Okay.
Yep, we try to do that once a year, and that's part of the request, so everybody can validate who anybody is, what's going on, asking some questions, and getting the knowledge. So we're going to do that in January.
Okay, is there gonna be beer at that?
Nope, not
Oh,
this
darn.
time. Maybe I'll put it in as a request.
Oh, would you, please?
maybe afterwards,
you
maybe
do that.
after.
Afterwards, okay, good enough.
Okay. Any other news business?
So what I need you to do is designate 2 people to attend the meeting and make a motion on that, please.
Okay.
What do you mean by that? We need to designate 2 people from this board?
Yes, from your board to
Oh.
attend the meeting.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll attend.
Or I know there's 2 people missing tonight, so you could always,
Do we need to designate who, or just say that we'll have 2 people there?
who, right?
Yeah, because
Correct.
you're gonna have them do a presentation, correct?
Yes,
All
well,
right,
I'm
let's
gonna
give
help
them
with
all
that.
of the information.
But I'm gonna basically do the
Okay.
presentation.
Teresa,
so-
we can have more than 2 people, correct?
No, cause you would have a quorum, so we
But
couldn't
if it's
do
a
that.
public meeting,
Then you all have
you
to
follow, it's a Joint Planning Commission.
Yeah, then you'd all have
Then
to
you
be,
all cannot speak.
speak at it.
That's fine.
Well, I don't,
I'm just curious, because it is a public meeting, it's the Planning Commission. And I know the RRC encourages an annual meeting
Yes,
of various boards, you know, including council and everything. So I'm just kind of curious, because
that's why we.
having worked with RRC, there's a thing in my mind that's thinking the more the merrier,
Yeah,
but maybe I'm
sure.
wrong.
Well, unless you're going, the others are going to, just sit quietly, that's the issue that we get to, if there's too many.
I'd be curious what the agenda is.
What do you
At
mean
that
with-
time, for example, there'll be an agenda sent out
Yes.
for that meeting, so I guess my thing would be, you know, I don't need to be a designee, but if there's things on the agenda that get my interest, I would try and attend.
Right. Well, what it is basically a recap of what everybody's been doing the past year in each one of these meetings, each one of these commissions. And so we're just doing a recap of what everybody has been doing. Maybe some difficulties, some questions, something that we can experience, share. But that's what it's gonna be, just basically a recap of each one.
So are we making a presentation, or are you guys gonna present
I
on
am.
behalf of the ZBA?
I just have normally, in the past, always done them all. But there's also the two persons from the commission that are there to answer any extra questions.
Okay.
Or to validate anything that went on, or give any experience from it.
I have done, what time of day would it be?
Probably at night, the PC
thought it
meeting,
said-
yeah, PC meeting,
Say,
yeah, 6
Okay.
o'clock.
Tentatively, you can put my name on it, but so I gotta, you know, that problem I gotta work with.
So we have Brown and Nichols.
I would like to attend such a thing, yeah. Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay,
I've got it on my calendar. If there's not a problem with more than two people, I can come sit for a little bit, keep my mouth shut, cause then I can leave early.
Will we all be notified of it so that if we want to come
Yes,
and?
oh, absolutely, yep, all the boards and commissions will be.
any other new business?
Danielle, did I forget anything? She's just gotta keep me on task.
Okay, old business.
None at this time, that I have.
Board member comments.
I guess I would like to just make a comment that I enjoyed or was pleased with the way we had a discourse on some of these. It's maybe a little more in-depth than we've had in the past as we're considering them. So, I think, Mike, you helped because you have a lot of experience in the area.
I've got a
and
little bit of experience.
Little bit, yeah.
That's why I encouraged
But
him to join.
Sometimes I think we've maybe not had as much open discourse, which sometimes it's hard to have when you got the people sitting out there, but,
Yeah, it depends if you got a hostile crowd or not.
yeah, right, exactly.
That has a lot to do
So,
with
but I was very, I really liked that, I should say, that we had a good discussion among the board members about the issues, and it, we
And
had
Teresa,
before us.
good job with the staff report. You know, I did them for the ZBA for 10 years. I did them for 10 years, so, you know, the template looks a little familiar, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
That's right, I didn't wanna
That's
have
why
no
we save them in Word, right, Danielle?
Mhm,
We,
there you go.
you know, we don't put everything in PDF, we save some things in Word, just, and if you know, if you use parts of it or none of it, but you know what I mean.
Thanks.
You know, let's not make doing a staff report a half-a-day project if you can do it in a couple hours. Obviously, it takes longer just because you gotta visit sites, but you know what I mean.
And I have a question about the sign one, because looking through the ordinances, I found there were different standards that one you had in there, and I didn't know if those should have been addressed too in the staff report, or if you only addressed those 4 or 5. Because I know, I think it was last year, and I think Jerry was doing them.
Okay.
The sign for the credit union had a whole bunch more standards from the zoning ordinance. And I didn't know if that was just something that you weren't sure of, or if that shouldn't have been in there in 2024.
Yeah, I don't know, do you know which one that was, so then I can look
Yeah,
back
it's
at it and
section
look?
46-664J3.
Okay. And it was the credit union, I said?
Yeah, it was that Wexford Credit
Yeah,
Union thing,
Wexford
wasn't
Credit
it?
Union had a sign.
Can I read that without having to dig into mine?
Oh, yeah,
You've
I've
got
got it
that
right here.
page in front of you, so.
Yeah, because I had marked out where my concerns were.
Which one was it, the J?
Yeah, this is all J3.
Oh, I see.
These are all
Or-
the standards that it said had to have been met, these right
Right.
through here.
Got it.
And those were my,
It's a bunch of them.
yeah, those
Yeah,
were my
yeah.
concerns.
And that's a great reason why you table it. you know.
Yep.
But I didn't know if that was something that was supposed to be there, or if it was, if for the staff report, you only do those 4 things, like light and air and.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a big thing when you deal with practical difficulty is, you know, we had both situations here where the applicants kind of created their own practical difficulty. So it's kind of hard to approve something when, you know, we've had cases where this ZBA has granted variances on a parcel that maybe the, let's say a residence, all of a sudden there's a huge topographical change in slope. That can sure change things. Site plan, we did that for a shed on Holly Road.
Yeah.
The topography of the backyard was such, it's like, this isn't gonna work. You certainly get it on certain parcels that are on curves, because the front yard may not meet the width standard, but the backyard is extra wide. So for example, the 2 homes on Holly Road, and we were able to work with them without a variance, but they had to set them back farther from the street than they would have liked because of the side yard setback. And it worked. I mean, it worked, and they're 2 beautiful new homes, but yeah, there are things. But when you've got a rectangular shaped lot, it's a little harder to come up with a practical difficulty, in my opinion.
Well, the same thing in lakefront stuff.
Yes.
It's never,
Right?
sometimes in lakeside front, it's kind of, you take it and throw it away, work around it. But
Correct. Correct.
Well, like you said, they have the second one on Walnut Street, they have decided what they wanted in a home, and they wanted to put it
Sure.
on that lot.
Right.
And they wanted to have a variance for the setbacks to accommodate them.
Right.
And like you said, it was, and when I read through it, I thought,
Mhm.
I'm new here, this is my first meeting, I thought, I'm glad you're here, because I didn't wanna start talking in a negative way the first night, but
Well,
that's,
I just did, but.
yes, but you've been experienced and they
Right.
know
Well,
you.
They had a lot of ways they could have skinned that cat, and they need to
Absolutely.
look at it.
I agree.
Absolutely.
They've gone to
And I hope they build a home there.
Also, I do too.
mean, I just,
Yep.
I in my mind have already come up with a concept that I think it would work. Now, the driveway would be off Rogers Street, not Walnut, but you know what I mean, it's just,
There's lots of ways to configure that, a home.
right,
But even that's doable, it's a curb cut, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, it's not that big
Exactly
of a
right.
over thing to,
exactly.
Even if they didn't wanna go full 2-story, you could do a craftsman style bungalow kind of thing, which wouldn't.
And those 2 on Holly Road, I mean, I've been in them under construction, cause I was the zoning administrator, and I mean, what they did with the lower level is just magnificent.
Yep.
I mean, that's really the living area of those homes.
So something else that we need to discuss for next year is, I believe that our application and our process is too cheap. $150, anybody and everybody is coming. We need to raise the price, because the $150 does not even cover what we are paying the newspaper to publicly do the notice or sending out any of the mailings that are out there. And that's why we're getting so many people coming in for variances or questions and asking. I could give you a list of what other municipalities charge, and there's some that are out there $1,200 and $1,800 for a
Why
ZBA.
didn't
but we
you?
don't
We-
wanna
we-
discourage stuff.
Yeah, we had a discussion about that about
Yeah,
6
but
months,
again,
6, 8 months ago,
If we
and,
go to real low, we'll be back like we used to be years ago. We'd have 2 zoning meetings a week, a month. And they come here and just stack us in.
Yeah, but we're not
We don't-
even there right now.
we
Well,
don't have
And
that
That's
problem
why
now.
we've got this way we are.
Well, there was
They make sure
there's
they
a list
fit
that
before
was
they,
given to the planning commission.
they come in.
yesterday.
Yes, yep.
Well,
And
and
that
it's-
one was,
they're gonna think about it.
Yeah.
and that
Do
one
I
was
wanna spend
exorbitant.
$1,200 or do
thought
I
that
want?
Yeah, but we don't wanna do that, because you've got a lot of little lots in the city,
Yeah, well,
especially
there's a-
with Habitat for Humanity wanting to put buildings on them,
Yeah,
you
we've
don't wanna
worked with
make it.
Habitat more than once.
No, I understand that, but you
Right.
start raising that stuff, yeah, you're gonna get fewer people coming in,
And
but
then-
it's you're gonna have a lot of undeveloped
But-
stuff.
But there
Danielle,
was a
we-
list given to
Danielle,
the
we-
planning commission
We went
to
through
raise
this,
the rates.
sorry,
I'm sorry,
Go
and none of them were exorbitant, they were just enough to cover
Mhm.
costs of
And that's what we need to
putting
do.
it
Yeah,
together.
the publication fees, I honestly think should be separate, like they pay the $150
Oh.
fee plus the publication fee.
That's an interesting
So-
Oh, that's a
point.
good idea.
That way, that's covered, the city shouldn't be going in the hole on this,
That's a good
but I
idea.
don't think we should be raising it to discourage development.
Danielle, wasn't it 6, 9 months ago that we had this discussion, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what.
And I think didn't you
Yep.
collect the comments and the thoughts when we
Yep,
had
we have
that?
all of that information.
Okay,
Stephen, these are conversations we had 6, 7, 8 years ago also.
okay, it's not new, huh?
It's a conversation
Yeah.
that's come up
It's kind of
for
ongoing.
many, many years.
All right, like I said,
And-
the big thing is, if they have to pay more, they're gonna think twice about coming to us.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
But
if
you
let's,
get a lot of people like this.
Well,
new
they
people.
still, they would think closer, they'd go do some more research instead of just come in, oh, here's $150, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, well, and then we had Manistee, who was like $1,500
Yeah, well, I'm not
or
saying on that
something,
high.
which was
You know, $300,
a
$400
little on the other
is more,
extreme.
more than adequate.
Yeah,
It stops the, excuse my term, the jerk that comes in. I mean, before I first started, we were doing once a month, no problem. And we had 3, 4 houses, we started getting a little bit more restricted. Before I started, they were doing 2 weeks a month and going, approved,
Yeah,
approved.
but, I mean, that's why we have ordinances, not to
Yeah,
rubber
but they
stamp
would,
everything.
they coming in, and they would, as soon as the guy would almost say something, approved.
what I like about Kelly's idea is their public notices are like anything in the newspaper. So you'll maybe have a public notice with a property lot description that is as simple as lot 25, section 8, the Mitchell plat, which is like one short sentence. And you'll have others
That are
where you will
2
have,
columns.
you know, well, I remember we had one that came before, and it had to do with a property on Whaley Street, that the back of it was extremely wide, and it faced the railroad tracks. This is at the south end of town, and there was a pond on it, and there was all kinds of odd configurations because of homes where some things had been land division. And I'm telling you, instead of a 1-sentence property description, the property description was like this. And that ad is a whole lot more expensive than one with a short property description. So the idea of covering the cost of that plus might be the way to start it.
Yep.
The way to start it. Might not be the final solution,
If
but,
you-
yeah.
if you stand back and look at it, the whole newspaper thing is archaic. Nobody, that's kind of archaic, plus they put descriptions in there, Mike, that, unless you're a lawyer or a surveyor, you don't really even know what they're talking about, so.
What
I don't know.
caused our cost to, Steve, I don't mean to interrupt you, but what caused our cost to skyrocket? Something happened, I think, legally in the state of Michigan, where I think many years ago, these public notice would be kind of like more in the classified ads area, where you had garage sales, cars for sale, and something came up, I understand legally, to where it had to be, they have to be in a more prominent location within the newspaper, such as in the first section versus in the classifieds.
Next to the funnies.
And that caused, because, you know, this is how the newspapers are, they charge more for that than they do for the classifieds. So I believe that was part of what caused our publication costs to just skyrocket.
Yeah,
Anyway, so that's a subject, I
And
guess, for
Mackenzie,
further consideration.
She might be able to add to that.
I mean, saying, cost is not tell them they can't do it, you just tell them, research more.
Right. We've got Foster Swift on. Am I sort of correct with that?
Yeah, I'm
Sort
not
of.
super familiar, but I do know that there has been case law regarding public notices in other circumstances and cases about them needing to be prominently displayed, because there's some due process issues there of making sure that people are on notice of these certain things. So that tracks. I'm just not aware specifically of in like this instance or Michigan, but generally that's how it goes.
Okay?
Okay.
What do you say,
Okay.
boss man?
Public comment, I guess there's nobody here. I guess we adjourn,
Move to
Motion
adjourn.
Adjourn.
go to work.
Thank you.